Welcome to Around Town here in the Concord Heights area. What's happening today and what's coming up here in the capital city. And I'm your host, Dick Patten. And we're now marching toward July, if you can believe it. The end of June is almost here. And everybody, or most people, are getting ready for the festive 4th of July holiday. And so with me today is my special guest, Christopher Ialuna, who is the assistant director. I know there's more of it to that, but motor vehicle.
No, I didn't get promoted yet. Not to that yet. No.
All right, so let's give you official title again.
Bureau Chief of the Registration Bureau at DMV.
You should have a. Well, you're hiding it right there, probably.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, yeah.
This is my lucky card that gets me in the door.
Yeah, get you in the door, right? Yeah, there you go. You know, I had something in mind, and I'll talk about it in a minute, but I had to go yesterday over there because my sister went to get her license renewed. Now, I hadn't been over there myself since maybe 4 years ago at least. Mm-hmm. I went in the door, and I could not believe what the heck I was looking at. They've changed. Mm-hmm. And I went, which way do I go? Mm-hmm. And there was a line on my right coming down to the door. I go to my left, and there's no line, but everybody's in seats out there sitting. Mm-hmm. So I walked out there, and of course there's all these numbers lit up on the boards. Mm-hmm. And then I hear somebody say, numbers, whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, what's this all about? Mm-hmm. And I said to the gentleman sitting there, I said, is this where they do the license renewals? You know, yeah, right here. Well, it wasn't. It's down below there or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so it's like, what happened? What is where down there?
Yeah. So basically, they're rearranging our building a little bit and reconfiguring a whole lot of different areas. But when you walk into the main building, a lot of our busier substations actually now have it. When you walk into the main entrance, you actually now have an info desk, which is right there. And the idea of the info desk is for the folks there that are working behind the counter there to check to make sure you have all the proper documentation that you need in order to obtain either a driving record, driving license, registration transaction, title transaction, whatever the case might be. And if you don't have it, then basically you're told what you need right then and there. So you don't have to go and wait in line anymore, only to be told that the information that you brought wasn't enough information. You know, so it's actually been a lot of very positive response on this by doing it that way, because right away, as soon as you walk in, somebody waits on you right there. Now, assuming you have everything that you need, then they end up giving you a number, and then you go down to the appropriate area, and they'll tell you where to go. So one section of the building is for driver licensing, and then the other side of the building is for registration, titling, and financial responsibility. So,
well, where do you get your plates?
The plates you can get right on the right-hand side when you come in. So that's in Concord.
Side.
Yes. Yep. So when you walk in the main entrance, we're actually on the right-hand side.
So on the left-hand side is where you get your driver's license in. Mm-hmm. Well, what the heck was my sister thinking? She told me to the right, and I thought, well, no, this guy told me to the left. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there was a lot of people
to the right of the info desk. So I mean, maybe it's I don't know.
There was a lot of people.
Depends on which way you're facing, I guess.
There was a lot of people in there that were not speaking English, and I thought, boy, I wonder where they're from. But and then whose idea was it to have this thing up here with the lights and all that jazz?
Yeah, the numbering system is a new system that's designed, and instead of having our DMV folks scream out numbers or anything like that, it basically has a numbering system. So one system represents a driver licensing transaction, another one represents a registration transaction, so on and so forth. So each one of them actually have the ability now to go in and so then they'll call out the number. So now the folks actually get to sit down in the lobby, and there's actually a TV screen right there with information about DMV, but also they could watch a TV show if they want to.
Oh, gee.
And we kind of did it that way a little bit more even for customer service purposes. We want to make the experience as positive as it can be for DMV, because I mean, let's face it, some of the transactions can take quite a while, so you want to make sure that if somebody's going to be there for a little bit of time, that they can at least be entertained. What we have found sometimes is people have actually missed their numbers because they've been watching TV so long.
That's what I was going to say.
Or not so long, but they got into what they were watching. Let's put it that way.
Number 24, go to window 3. Number 24, window 3. Last call, number 24, window 3. Excuse me, I'm watching Days of Our Lives.
Yes.
I wanted to finish that before I got up there.
Absolutely.
I'm watching the news, and oh, brother. Well, I guess it's nice, but but I saw that and I thought, what the heck is that all about?
Yeah. But I mean, we did hear from a lot of people about when they were standing in in line. You know, obviously there are some folks that have difficulty walking or didn't really have many places to sit or anything like that. So we found that this was a better customer service experience for people, that at least they could sit down and relax or you know, check emails or something like that. You know, whatever, while they were waiting, that kind of thing. You know, I mean, that being said, we've also done an awful lot at a lot of the other substations and everything to help with the customer service, and a lot of our folks are cross-trained now to assist with a lot of different motor vehicle transactions in the other substations. So depending on the time of month, really depends on how busy you are. So the days you don't want to go are the every Friday.
Mondays
and Monday mornings usually. So Fridays and Monday mornings usually are the craziest days, because Friday is the, oh shoot, I need to get it done before the weekend. And then Mondays are the, oh my God, I forgot to get it done over the weekend. And then usually Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays tend to not be as bad. And even the middle of the month tends to be even better as well. So we've had some folks that have been in and out in 30 minutes, to the other extreme that has been maybe as long as 2 hours. But we, from being connected to the other DMVs throughout the country, we also know that our wait times are not nearly as bad as some other states. One in particular is right to our south, that has upwards of 4-hour waits. So,
oh my goodness gracious.
Yes. So.
Well, I could start with the news, and I could watch Young and the Restless, and then I could go switch to Days of Our Lives and General Hospital. That would give me 4 hours probably right there.
There you go. Catch up on all your shows.
They're crazy. But anyway, no, I noticed that yesterday. I thought, gee, what the heck happened here? You know, before I never thought they had that much room to do anything like that. But and I don't know anybody anymore that works behind the counter like they used to. They've all retired. Well, I think Bonnie was one of the last ones that I knew, but she must be retired now. But
no, a lot of fresh faces, but you know, a lot of them have. When you work at an agency as large as DMV, there is turnover mainly from retirements. A lot of people really seem to enjoy working there just because it's a different atmosphere every single day. So it is exciting, but a lot of retirements do happen. So then that opens up different positions, and people swap around all the time just for something a little different.
Sure.
And, some folks have been on the counter their whole lives. Some folks do counter for a few years, decide they want something different, and then they take a position up on the second floor doing more behind-the-scenes stuff. And like I said, my bureau, we're situated up on the second floor as well.
Oh, you are?
Yes,
So, that building there, then?
Yes, at 23 Hazen.
And I think back to the old days when you were all down at the Morton building, before they had those big additions on down there. Can you just imagine that? The state police were on one side. You were down in the hole there, and it's like, God, man, what a difference. You know, can't get over that. Well, that's good. Now, the second thing is I just showed you off camera, though. I didn't know that you had to have a placard if you had handicap plates.
Yes. So the requirement by the law in the rule does speak to that a person does need to have, you can have one of a few choices. So you can either have one placard, just if that's all you want. You can have up to 2 placards, or you could have a placard and a plate. So really kind of up to you what you want. But in order to, you have to have at least a placard to have any of the parking privileges associated with the walking disability placard. And the main reason for that is because you may not always be in the same car. And yes, you may own your own car, but you may also be having a ride in somebody else's car, going out to dinner, whatever the case might be. And so we looked at having a placard as more of a customer service, more of the ability for you to actually have more options available to you. So the placard actually belongs to you. It doesn't necessarily, it's not assigned to a vehicle, it's assigned to a person. So that placard can go in any person's vehicle, provided you're in it. That's the main concern that we have, unfortunately, with walking disability, is that we do have some folks that don't utilize the placard the way they should. And in those instances, those reports come our way, and we end up doing what we need to do on our end to ensure that we're maintaining compliance.
I'd never heard of that. Now, okay, so now that means, like with me, I have a placard, but I don't have handicap plates. Of course, I have my state plates on, but I also keep my regular plates just in case I ever, leave office or something. But so does that mean I have to get handicap plates now, or do I have to turn those other ones in, or what?
Nope. You at no time do you need to get handicap plates. A lot of folks don't want to have the plates. A lot of people, the amount of placards, the ratio of the placards to the plates is dramatically different. So a lot of people just prefer the placard, and a lot of people don't even want the plates. They want a regular passenger, or a moose plate, or a park plate, or some other plate that they like, that's near and dear to them, and then they'll just use the placards instead. So.
Yeah, because we've got, I've got, well, supposedly at the time, I had the last set of the 5-digit number, of the 5-digit numbers. I think it's 45002 and 45003. And supposedly that was the last set anywhere. Now, I don't know how true that is. That was back in 1992 or 93, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that was ever issued back then, but
I really don't want to turn them in.
Yeah.
But if I had to, I guess I'd have to. If I had to go and get a handicap plate to go with this, but. As long as you say we don't have to.
Nope, you don't have to. You don't have to. You're good.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm good for something, I guess. But no, has the cost gone up on these? These still at $5? $5?
Yes, they're $5. They actually used to be free back when, but we ended up looking at it. There was a study committee that looked at the handicap placards about 3 or so years ago. And one of the discussions that came up was the cost of these placards, and the question was posed to me on what was the state making in revenue on handicap placards, and my answer was, we're not making any money off of these because they were free, and if anything, we were losing money with the postage to mail them out to folks, and the clerk's time processing the placards in the system. So if anything, we were losing money. So that was basically the main reason for upping it to $5, because at least the idea was that the state doesn't want to make money off of the placards, but at the same time we want to look at it and be able to cover our costs, the cost to design the placards and produce the placards, and then the staff's time and postage. And basically it's outlined now in the law that speaks to for processing and postage.
So how many different kind of? I'm surprised you haven't added another color, because you've got red and blue.
Yes.
But no white.
Nope.
No yellow.
Nope.
No green.
Nope.
So how come we haven't added a couple of colors?
Well, Do we want to?
I mean, the plates, I mean, from what I understand, if I get reelected, I hope to go back on transportation, but I mean, there was bills in there to add more plates.
Yes.
You know, we had the moose plate, right?
The moose plate's been around for, oh God, quite a few years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was one on Save Our Parks or something. Was that one too?
That's a Parks plate. Yep, that's been around since 2011 now. So.
What's another one?
The newest one out is the decal plate.
The veterans or Gold Star Mothers.
Yeah, Gold Star Mother had a tweak to the law that was looking at a mother or a stepmother at the time of death. So. That also is a very slippery slope too. That fortunately the legislature got involved in, because DMV we didn't feel comfortable with that situation. That was quite a challenge there, because what makes us say the birth mother may not be involved in a child's life? You just don't know, and the stepmother may have raised the child and for all intents and purposes would have been called mom.
Yep,
but but the reality was that wasn't the birth mother. So so who says that she's not entitled to that plate? So it was a very slippery slope, which we were very sensitive to, and we're glad that they looked at this bill this past year. So it is going to allow the stepmother now at the time of death to assist with that. So that's good. So with the handicap placard question is, we have the 6-month placard, which is a temporary one.
Yeah, that's the red one.
And that's the red one. And that idea behind that is mainly for those who just had a surgery, some type of operation, whatever the case might be, something like that, where they just need a little bit of time to recoup. And so it gives them the ability to park closer to a building wherever they're going while they're in the process of recuperation.
You discriminate. How do you know that I just need 6 months?
Right. Yep.
Should be good for a year.
Yeah. So it's a period up to 6 months. So we allow somebody 6 months. Now in the end, they might only need 3 weeks, but we give them at least a 6 months. So you never know. So it's it's not an exact science, I'll tell you that.
Oh,
but
boy. And then you had if I remember right, there was one. Wasn't there a plate or a bill about the Christian Science medical supposedly wanted there?
Yes.
And I get defeated if I remember right.
I do believe that ended up getting defeated. Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the challenge that went again, it was one that DMV didn't really we didn't oppose it, but that presents its own share of challenges. With a doctor, they have their signature and their title at the end of their signature.
Yeah.
So those were pretty clear. But by having the Christian Science folks be able to sign off on a placard, the only concern that we had there was we did feel that there was this a reasonable request to have this done. But if this was allowed, then how would the other ones be allowed? If other agencies came forward and said, well, we would like to be able to approve a placard, and we'd like to be able to approve a placard. And that's just a challenge, because, again, DMV folks, we're not doctors, and nor are we in the business to determine whether or not somebody is, or if someone is capable to determine whether or not somebody deserves a placard. So those were the challenges that we looked at, and ultimately I do believe that bill ended up getting defeated. So.
Yeah, because I was on that committee, and then I got moved to another one. But and then, of course, you had all the veterans plates that wanted different plates. You had all the colleges that all of a sudden in the New Hampshire system that wanted their university plate. I don't know how that ever ended up. I can't remember.
Yep, no, so that one made it through. So we ended up coming up with a decal plate a couple of years ago, which really this year, received so much traction. So, yeah, again, the university system came forward. We had Boy Scouts of America. We had a breast cancer coalition. Several other agencies came forth this year. for the decal plate. And basically what it is, it's just a regular plate that DMV just sells, but we don't sell any of the decals that go along with it at all. So that's the nice part. So we basically just give you a plate, and on the plate is a 3x3 pre-printed square on it, which basically we just hand you the plate, and then you go to the nonprofit agency that you want to get the decal from. Those are serialized, which matches up with your plate, and then that way it's covered. So you can support 6 nonprofit agencies if you'd like to, and the money will go to the nonprofit agency. So we didn't want to be in the business of being a money collection agency for any of the nonprofit agencies or anything like that. But the cost to produce a brand new plate type and program it in our system and everything is a substantial amount of money. So it wasn't that we were opposed to any bills or doing any of these bills. It was just the cost to make these bills or to make these new plates. And that was really the challenge that we had. So so that opened up a different possibilities for us and allowed us to say yes to all these other agencies that wanted their logos displayed on a plate. So we let that.
What do you think will come in this year for plates?
Oh boy, it's.
Have you got the Kiwanis or the Rotary yet? Or
the Rotary was one of the first ones that went through, and that went through last year. So the current ones were the Rotary, UNH, and the firefighters. Those are the ones that are currently out. But then coming soon, I believe actually July 1st, there's going to be a lot of other agencies that are going to be participating in this as well.
Oh, really?
So, yes. So this decal plate is really getting a lot of popularity, and once the sales go up this year, which we're fully expecting, so.
But the organization has to have the decal.
Yes.
But you have it on hand or no?
I do. They do send the logo to DMV for our approval. There's a few requirements that the law dictates as far as what the decal needs to have on it. So there are. It has to be legislatively approved first. So it has to go through the formal process of going through the House and then the Senate and then also through the governor's office before they're allowed to even issue any decals. So they have to go through that process. And then once they do that, then they're supposed to come to the legislature with a design in mind. And if they do bring one, that's great. And if not, then they have to provide one at least to us, so we can see it and make sure that it meets the specs that are required per the law. And then once that happens, then we let them know what they need to do at that point.
We were thinking of putting a bill into our state Grange convention this year about having plates for the Grange. And I got thinking, I know what these guys are going through, and is it worth it? Really? You know, I mean, we've got, I think, around 2,000 members now, a little bit, maybe more than that. Down from about 50,000, but still, I don't think it's worth it. I would like to see. I think if I saw a plate come back, I think I'd like to see the scenic plate. Do you remember those?
Yep, I sure do.
Any chance of those coming back? I don't know.
The challenge with that was actually a bill made its way through this past year, adding scenic or live free or die on it, and it ultimately ended up dying on the floor. And the reason for that was because the system would have had to be reprogrammed to allow every single plate type. So basically you're taking every existing plate type that we have that has live free or die, and you're creating another version of it. So you had to add double the plate types. And unfortunately, a lot of the towns had very limited storage space as far as where they could put. So to handle another 40, 50, 60 different plate types that the towns have in their possession that was pretty hard to do. So, so in the end, they ended up shooting that down. But yeah, no, we've heard that before. People wanting to have that back again.
remember that.
So yeah.
Now we'll never go back changing colors on the plates again, right?
At this point, there's no discussion of doing.
Used to be green one year, white the next year. I remember those when I was a kid.
Yep. And they had the dates printed on them as well, so the years and
yeah.
everything printed on them as well. So yeah.
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 Well, I guess that's a sign that we're done for the day, but
Okay.
it's been good having you come in, Chris,
Sure.
again and
Sure.
explain this stuff, because it is. I mean, yesterday I was totally lost in there. And then not knowing about this, because I think my sister got a little confused, but still, you know, it really was confusing.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you always tell people, a lot of people don't understand DMV fully until you actually work there.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's our job to try to help everybody beyond that.
Oh, believe me, yes. Well, we've been visiting with Chris Ialuna,
Ialuna,
yeah. That's my thinking. From Know the Vehicle, and if you have any questions, because it is a little confusing now about some things, just go ahead and look him up over there or give him a call, and he'll certainly get you started in the right direction. So, with that in mind, thanks to Ian Marx, my director, and we hope you'll have a great weekend coming up, and don't forget the 4th of July, be safe on the roads, or be careful handling fireworks, and I'm your host, Dick Patten. Have a good one.